She was naked, floating in another man's pool, drink in hand, laughing like she didn't have a husband who loved her. I saw everything. Her sister was there too, topless. And the man they were entertaining? He wasn't just rich, he was hers. The way she wrapped around him, the way he touched her like he owned her? I didn't need more proof. That moment, that exact moment, burned itself into my brain. And I swear, I felt something inside me snap. I stood hidden in the shadows just beyond the fence. I had followed her location after coming home early from a business trip, expecting to surprise her. Instead, I was the one getting slapped across the face with reality. I called her. She answered on the third ring, giggling. "Hey babe, you okay?" "Yeah," I said slowly, I still locked on her silhouette in the pool. "My flight got canceled. I'll be home real soon." Silence. Just for a second. Then, fake sweetness coated her voice. "Oh, that's fine. Can't wait." She hung up quickly. I watched her jump out of the pool and start shouting something to her sister. Panic. I ducked away and got back in my car. My hands trembled, not from fear, not from heartbreak, but from the pure, boiling rage building in my veins. Let's rewind 24 hours. Her name is Ashley. Mine's Jake. We've been married 5 years. I met her when I was broke, hungry, and chasing dreams. She said she loved the ambition. Said she'd build with me. But now that I have money, suddenly I'm too boring, too predictable, too focused on work. So she found her fun elsewhere, apparently in the arms of some guy named Dominic, a flashy investment dude with a jawline made for commercials and zero moral compass. Ashley started changing about 2 months ago. The perfume, the late nights, the constant phone checking, the don't wait up messages. I noticed, of course, but like an idiot, I let it slide. I gave her space. I thought maybe it's just a phase. What a clown I was. The day I caught her was supposed to be a turning point in our marriage. I had bought concert tickets for her favorite band. I'd planned to surprise her with a getaway. I'd even booked the exact suite where we spent our honeymoon. But instead of finding my wife at home, I found an empty house and a dead silence. Until I opened her GPS location. Until I saw her in his mansion. And now? I wasn't just some heartbroken fool. I was a man with a plan. Because I'm not going to scream or cry. I'm going to dismantle her world, piece by piece. And when I'm done, she'll regret ever thinking I was just a safe option. By the time I got back to our house, the fire inside me had cooled, but not died. No, it sharpened. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to break things or drown in tears. I was going to do what she never expected, smile. I opened a bottle of wine, cooked her favorite pasta, truffle cream fettuccine, set the table for 2, lit candles. A performance. A trap. Every move calculated. At 1:12 a.m., the door opened. I didn't even turn. Just stirred the sauce. Ashley's voice came soft, like a breeze before a storm. "Jake, you're home." I turned with a grin. Surprise. Her eyes were wide. She hadn't even changed. Still had on the sheer black cover-up I saw her wearing at the pool. Her hair was wet. Her face too clean, washed of sin but not of guilt. She forced a smile. "I thought your flight was tomorrow night." I nodded, still smiling. "It was. Then I decided I missed you." She stepped inside, her heels clicking softly against the hardwood. "That's sweet." I watched her grab a chair. She couldn't meet my eyes. "So," I said calmly, pouring her a glass. "Did you have a nice night?" She hesitated. "Just spa with Brittany." I almost laughed. Must have been some spa. Looked more like a pool party with a guest list of 3. Her face froze. She blinked. "What?" I leaned forward, resting my elbows on the table. "GPS, Ash. You never turned off location sharing." She went pale. "I saw you," I continued. "Every inch. You weren't exactly hiding. Not that you even tried." She opened her mouth, then closed it. Like a fish yanked out of water. "It's not what you think." That line. Classic. I raised my brow. "Oh? So you weren't naked in another man's pool? With your sister? Laughing like your life's one big joke?" She scoffed, suddenly switching tones like flipping a light. "You're insane. You've been working nonstop for months and now you're jealous of a swim." I stood, towering over the table. "Don't you dare gaslight me." Her mask slipped. "What do you want me to say, Jake? That I was bored? That I needed something to feel alive again? Because living with a man who treats his laptop better than his wife isn't exactly exciting." There it was. The truth. Or at least her version of it. I stepped back, crossing my arms. "So your solution was to play stripper for a millionaire behind my back?" while dragging your sister into your mess. She rolled her eyes. God, you make it sound so dramatic. No, Ashley, you made it dramatic. I just caught the show. She laughed bitterly, tossing her hair. You act like you're so perfect. Like you didn't bury yourself in work and forget how to be a husband. At least Dominic listened. My stomach twisted. So that's his name. She froze again. I nodded. Dominic. Rich. Older. Tan. Likes whiskey. That him. She didn't answer. Good. I didn't need more lies. You know what hurts the most? I said. It's not the cheating. Not the lies. Not even the humiliation. It's the fact that you enjoyed it. You laughed. Like I was just some joke you outgrew. She stood up too, suddenly furious. I did outgrow you, Jake. You think being a provider makes you a man? You stopped being mine a long time ago. I didn't flinch. Good, I said. Then I won't be yours tomorrow, or ever again. Her eyes widened. You'll get divorce papers next week. Jake, wait. No. You waited. You gambled everything for cheap thrills and champagne. Now live with the consequences. I grabbed my keys and walked out, leaving her in the flicker of candlelight and the sin of food she didn't deserve. That night, I didn't cry. I started planning. The next morning, I didn't wake up in our bed. I woke up in a cheap motel off Highway 9. The kind of place you rent by the night when you don't want questions. Cold sheets. Flickering light. Peeling wallpaper. But it was quiet, and I needed that. My phone buzzed every hour. Missed calls from Ashley. A couple texts, half-hearted apologies mixed with emotional blackmail. Can we talk? You misunderstood. I didn't mean to hurt you. And my favorite, it wasn't even serious. She wanted to explain. Of course she did. She wanted to soften the blow, repaint her betrayal in pastel colors. Not gonna happen. But there was someone else I needed to talk to. Someone who wasn't just involved, she was right there, soaking in the same pool like it was spring break in hell. Brittany, Ashley's younger sister. 25, wild, spoiled, and always glued to her phone. She and Ashley were inseparable party twins. But Brittany had something Ashley didn't, guilt. I saw it in her eyes when Ashley ran inside that mansion. Brittany hesitated. She looked around, like she knew they'd been caught. So I called her. She answered on the second ring. Jake. Where are you? Silence. I just want to talk. More silence. I'm not mad, Brittany. I just need the truth. She gave me an address. A cafe downtown. Quiet place. Neutral ground. I arrived 20 minutes later. She was already there, hoodie up, sipping iced coffee with trembling hands. No makeup. No filters. Just a girl who knew she was in deep. I sat across from her. Thanks for meeting me. She nodded, biting her lip. I didn't know you saw everything. I did. She exhaled slowly, almost relieved. Okay. Then I won't pretend. I didn't say a word. I just waited. Brittany looked around, leaned forward, and whispered, Ashley's been seeing that guy for months. His name is Dominic. Real estate investor. Divorced. He's generous. I clenched my jaw. How generous? Trips. Jewelry. Rent for her little art studio. She told me it wasn't cheating if it didn't mean anything. Said you were too busy to notice. I stared at her. And you just went along with it? I didn't know at first, she snapped. I thought she was just hanging with friends. Then she invited me to the house. Told me it'd be fun. And I didn't know you'd be back. I swear. I sighed, rubbing my face. She's your sister, Brittany. You let her destroy her marriage and treated it like a vacation. Brittany's eyes welled up. She used me too, Jake. She always has. Makes me feel guilty when I say no, like I owe her for everything. I didn't even want to be there last night. I believed her. Maybe that made me stupid, but her voice cracked in a way Ashley's never did. She told me you'd never leave, Brittany said quietly. That you were too nice. That even if you found out, you'd stay. Those words hit harder than any slap. I stood up. Thanks for the honesty. She grabbed my wrist. Jake, wait. There's something else. I turned slowly. She's been recording your arguments. Editing them. Saving voice clips. I think she's building a case. My blood ran cold. For what? Brittany hesitated. I think she's going to try to flip this on you. Make it seem like you were the bad guy all along. Of course she was. Classic Ashley, cheat, lie, manipulate, and then play the victim when it all falls apart. Thank you, I said flatly, walking out. That night, I didn't sleep. I backed up my phone, downloaded every GPS log, pulled credit card statements, security footage from our Ring cameras. I wasn't just leaving her. I was going to bury her lies under evidence so solid, not even her crocodile tears could crack it. Monday morning, 8 a.m. sharp, I was in the office of Daniel Cross, divorce attorney. Former prosecutor, sharp suit, sharper eyes. The kind of guy who didn't care about sob stories, only proof and precision. I barely sat down when he looked me dead in the eye and said, "If what you're saying is true, you need to act yesterday." I laid it all out. GPS logs, screenshots, the pool footage I captured through the fence, Brittany's confession. Everything. Cross tapped his pen thoughtfully, nodding as I spoke. Then he leaned back and sighed. "There's something you're not going to like," he said. I raised an eyebrow. "What?" She filed first. I blinked. "She what?" He flipped his monitor around and pointed to the screen. There it was. Case filed 2 hours ago. Petitioner, Ashley Lynn Porter. Grounds, emotional neglect and verbal aggression. She'd painted me as a distant, cold husband who belittled her, left her lonely and unloved. She even claimed I had controlling tendencies and limited her social freedom. I laughed. Out loud. That's her angle? Daniel didn't smile. She's not stupid. She's playing offense. If the court believes she was emotionally abused, she can paint the cheating as a desperate cry for affection. You look like the villain. She's setting the narrative. I clenched my fists. She was in another man's pool. Naked. Not enough, he said flatly. You need direct proof of an affair, texts, photos, financial transactions. And more importantly, you need to show she's manipulative. That she's constructing this. I leaned forward. Her sister told me she's been recording our fights. Splicing them. Building a fake case. He nodded. If we can get those recordings and prove they're doctored, we flip the game. But you need to move fast. I left his office with a plan. And a time bomb. When I got back to the house that night, Ashley was sitting at the kitchen table, calm as a monk, sipping wine. "Hey, babe," she said like nothing happened. I ignored her and went straight to the office. I backed everything up already, but now I needed to dig. It didn't take long. A folder buried deep in our shared cloud drive, locked but lazily protected. A few password guesses later, boom. Jake_rages.mp3. Emotional_breakdown.wave. Recordings_for_safekeeping. The files were exactly what Brittany described. Edited audio. Me, sounding angry and impatient, but out of context. Spliced phrases like, "I don't care about you," jammed next to, "Why do you even try?" Like a Frankenstein monster stitched together for sympathy. It was sick. She was going to use this in court. I copied everything, sent it to Cross. Then I walked into the living room. Ashley looked up, all fake smiles and silky lies. "You okay?" I stared at her. "You're a lot of things, Ash. But subtle isn't one of them." She tilted her head. "What's that supposed to mean?" I walked over slowly, dropped a flash drive on the table. "That's everything you tried to use against me. The edited fights. The voice recordings." Brittany told me, "You're not just a cheater, you're a manipulator. And you're bad at it." Her face twitched. Just for a second. A crack in the mask. "I'll let the lawyer handle the rest," I added, turning to leave. But then she did something I didn't expect. She smiled. "Good," she whispered. "Then we're finally playing the same game." It was a moment of clarity. She didn't love me. She didn't miss me. She saw this as a chessboard, and she thought she was winning. But I wasn't the same man I was a week ago. And she was about to learn that the hard way. She thought she had me cornered. That I'd sit in silence while she burned my name with edited recordings and sob stories. That I'd just roll over and let her walk out like the misunderstood angel she pretended to be. No, this wasn't about heartbreak anymore. This was about justice. I called Brittany the next morning. Met her in a parking garage downtown. She showed up in a hoodie again, dark glasses like she was running from paparazzi. And maybe she was, at least metaphorically. "You got the originals?" I asked. She nodded and handed over a flash drive. All of them. From Ashley's laptop. She didn't log out after her little pool party. I copied everything before she could even sober up. I took it. "You just saved me." She gave a tired smile. She was always the favorite. Maybe this balances the scale. With those files, I now had before and after versions of each audio clip. Unedited, raw, and in some cases, proving I was the one being verbally baited. Daniel Cross was practically giddy when I delivered them. "This," he said, "this is a nuke." We filed a counterclaim. Added digital manipulation, malicious intent, and emotional fraud. Cross sent the package to her attorney, right before court proceedings began. Ashley didn't take it well. I got the pleasure of seeing her lose control during our first court appearance. When the judge asked if she had any new evidence to support her claims of emotional abuse, she smirked like a movie villain and nodded. That smirk vanished in 5 seconds. Because Cross stood up, handed over the flash drive, and said, "Your Honor, we have unaltered versions of every file Mrs. Porter submitted. As you'll hear, they've been heavily edited, taken out of context, and manipulated to craft a false narrative." The courtroom went cold. Ashley's lawyer visibly flinched. Ashley herself? She just sat there, eyes wide, mouth slightly open like a fish gasping for air. The judge didn't even wait. "We'll review this in chambers. If what you're saying is true, Mrs. Porter may be facing sanctions for perjury and digital evidence tampering." Ashley looked at me, and for the first time since this hell began, she looked afraid. Not guilty, not sorry, just afraid. That told me everything. After the hearing, she caught up to me in the parking lot. "You had no right to go through my things," she hissed. I turned to her, calm as ever. "You had no right to turn our marriage into a stage play." She crossed her arms. "You think this makes you the hero? You still lost me." I took a step closer. "Ashley, I didn't lose you. I threw you away." She flinched. I kept going. "You're not a prize. You're a cautionary tale." She stood there, stunned, while I got in my car and drove off. But I wasn't done yet. Over the next week, I made sure every shared account was locked down. I froze joint credit cards, changed every password, transferred utilities into my name or cut them entirely. I even filed for exclusive use of the house until the divorce was finalized. And Brittany? She moved in with a friend and started therapy. "I need to untangle the Ashley in my head," she told me. I got it. Ashley wasn't just a bad wife, she was a virus, infecting every relationship around her, twisting loyalty into silence and silence into betrayal. But I was done being quiet. She wanted a war. She got one. And I had only just started firing. Just when I thought I'd uncovered everything, that there was nothing left for her to sink her claws into, I found it. One final betrayal. It happened on a Thursday evening, 2 weeks after the court ambush. I had just gotten home from a meeting with Daniel Cross, feeling like we were finally gaining control. The edited recordings had turned the judge against her. The restraining order she sneakily tried to file? Dismissed without a hearing. Everything was going my way. Until I opened my laptop. I logged into our shared cloud storage to pull some old tax documents when I noticed a folder I hadn't seen before. It wasn't hidden, just tucked between 2 vacation albums, titled J Expenses. At first, I thought it was budgeting stuff. Ashley was always obsessive with money. But when I opened it, my blood went cold. There were receipts, bank transfers, records from my personal accounts. Thousands of dollars moved. Not recently, months ago. At first, I thought it was fraud. But the account numbers? All legitimate. My accounts. My passwords. She had been draining me slowly. A few hundred here, 1,000 there. Transferred into a PayPal account registered to Ale Designs. Her studio project? The one she always said never made money. It made money, all right. Mine. I called the bank. Confirmed it. Everything was done using login credentials from our home IP. No hacking. No malware. Just trust, twisted and weaponized. I was shaking. It wasn't just the money. It was the premeditation. While she was slipping into silk robes and whispering lies into another man's ear, she was also bleeding me dry, slowly, surgically. Like she was preparing her escape months in advance. I stormed outside, pacing, phone pressed to my ear. "Daniel," I barked when he picked up. "She's been stealing. You have proof." "I've got more than proof. I've got timestamps, logins, IP trails, all of it. She's been pulling from my personal accounts without my knowledge. That's theft. Send it over. I'll file a motion to freeze her assets immediately." That night, I didn't sleep. I stared at my ceiling, jaw clenched, replaying every time I ignored the signs. The way she insisted we share passwords because couples shouldn't hide things. The sudden burst of generosity she showed toward her sister, gifts, spa trips, dinners, and I thought she was just being thoughtful. She wasn't. She was laundering my kindness into ammunition. I confronted her the next morning, brief, brutal, and public. I walked straight into her favorite brunch spot, the one she always went to with her fake high society friends. She was there, laughing, fake as ever, until she saw me. I slammed a folder down on her table. Bank printouts, transaction logs, a screenshot of her fake business account. Her smile vanished. "What is this?" she muttered, eyes darting. Evidence, I said calmly, of your theft. Her friends were frozen, awkward, unsure whether to pretend they weren't hearing everything or just bolt. You accessed my accounts without permission. You lied. You stole. This isn't just a bad marriage anymore, Ashley. This is criminal. You're embarrassing yourself, she hissed, voice shaking. No, I said, leaning in. I'm exposing you. And then I left, without another word, without another glance. She could clean up her lies on her own. Later that day, Daniel filed to freeze her studio account, subpoenaed records from PayPal, and added financial fraud to our claim. That was the final blow. She stopped calling after that. No more crocodile tears. No more manipulative texts. Just silence. And for the first time in months, it was peaceful. But something still lingered inside me. Something that needed release. Not revenge. Closure. The building looked smaller than I remembered. Red bricks chipped with time. A little bookstore on the corner, a wine bar next to it, and in the middle, Luna Cafe, the place where I met her. Back then, I was broke and overworked, surviving on instant noodles and $20 hopes. Ashley walked in wearing a sunflower dress and ordered a triple-shot latte like she ran the world. She asked to share my table because the place was full. She laughed at my sarcasm. I thought she was bold, sharp, alive. I had no idea I was meeting the storm that would gut me years later. Now, I sat at that same table. Alone. Different man. I didn't come here to wallow. I came to remind myself that this was where the fantasy started, so I could finally let it die. The waitress came over. Young, maybe 20, probably in college. She smiled. Waiting for someone? No, I said, smiling back. Just closing a chapter. She gave me a curious look, but didn't press. She brought me my black coffee. No cream, no sugar. Just the way I used to drink it before life got complicated. I sat there, thinking. Not about Ashley. About me. I had spent months, years, even twisting myself to be the man she said she wanted. Working overtime to provide the lifestyle she dreamed of. Trying to be more spontaneous, more attentive, more everything. I forgot somewhere along the way that I wasn't supposed to be chasing her approval. She was supposed to be building with me. Instead, she was building exits. I remember a night, maybe 2 years into our marriage, when she told me, I feel like I'm fading, Jake. Like I'm just someone's wife, not me anymore. I stayed up all night planning a weekend getaway for her. Rented a cabin. Set up a spa day. Bought her favorite wine. I thought it was enough. It never was. Because Ashley didn't want love. She wanted attention. And when she stopped getting it from me, she hunted it elsewhere. She needed people to orbit her. To worship her. And the moment I stopped spinning fast enough, she called it neglect. She turned betrayal into art. First emotional. Then physical. Then financial. And yet, she still played victim when the mask slipped. I finished my coffee and looked around the cafe. There were couples laughing. Students cramming. A mother trying to quiet her toddler. Life. Normal, boring, beautiful life. And I realized something. I want that again. Not a performance. Not a constant mind game. Just peace. Something real. Something steady. I checked my phone. One missed call. Not from Ashley. From Brittany. I called her back. Hey, she answered quietly. You okay? Yeah. Actually, yeah. She exhaled. I've been thinking about you. You should stop. You've got your own healing to do. I know. But, thank you. For not hating me. I never did, I said. I just hated the storm we all let happen. She was silent for a while. Then said, I started painting again. Real painting. Not the crap Ash made me post. That's good. You're talented. You're going to be okay, Jake. I know, I replied, and meant it. After we hung up, I sat a little longer, then finally stood. I didn't look back at the cafe. Didn't need to. That part of my life was over. Not burned to the ground, just folded, sealed, and set aside. Because the truth is, closure doesn't always come in fire. Sometimes, it's just a quiet coffee, a clear mind, and the decision to move forward. It came on a rainy Tuesday. I'd just gotten back from a morning run, something I hadn't done in months. I was soaked, heart pounding, lungs burning in a way that felt good for once. Like I was alive. Like I was me again. Then my phone buzzed. One new voicemail. Ashley. I stared at the notification, thumb hovering. I didn't want to listen. I didn't want her voice crawling back into my head, twisting things, softening edges she had once carved with a blade. But curiosity won. I hit play. Jake, it's me. I don't know why I'm even calling. I don't recognize anything anymore. I didn't expect things to go like this. I thought maybe, after some time, you'd cool off. That we could talk. There was a pause. I messed up. I know that. I was selfish and stupid, and I let things get out of control. I told myself it was your fault, that you made me feel invisible. But really, I was just chasing something that never existed. Another pause. Shaky breath. You were always there. I just didn't see it. And now I've got silence. And lawyers. And bills I can't pay. And I guess I just wondered if you hated me. I stared at the wall, jaw tight. Anyway, I'm not asking for anything. Just, I hope you're okay. I hope you find someone who actually deserves you. Because I didn't. Click. I sat there for a moment. Silent. Then I hit delete. No reply. No message. Nothing. I wasn't going to throw gasoline on the ashes. I'd already walked through hell. I wasn't going back just to check on the fire. I showered. Got dressed. Made breakfast. The small, normal things that remind you life doesn't end just because someone broke you. You get to rebuild. You get to choose. And that's the thing Ashley never understood. She thought pain made her powerful. That cheating gave her leverage. That betrayal was some kind of evolution. But strength isn't in destruction. It's in what you survive. Later that day, I met Daniel to finalize the paperwork. He slid a pen across the table. She signed. No drama. No courtroom battle. Not after the fraud was exposed. Her lawyer practically begged us to settle, just to keep things quiet. I signed. It was done. Just like that. We left the office, and I stood outside for a moment, watching the rain hit the pavement. The city was loud and messy and beautiful in a way I hadn't noticed in months. Maybe years. My phone buzzed again. A message from Brittany. I heard it's finalized. Just wanted to say, you made it out. I replied with just 2 words. So did you. And I meant it. Ashley's chapter was closed. Forever. No revenge. No grand gesture. Just freedom. That night, I cooked myself dinner. Sat on the couch. Played music. For once, the silence didn't feel empty. It felt earned. If you're reading this, and you're in a place like I was, in the eye of betrayal, unsure whether you're losing your mind or just your soul, let me tell you something. Leave. Walk away from anything that makes you question your worth. Because someone who loves you won't lie to your face, then weaponize your loyalty. They'll fight for you, not against you. They won't make you chase closure. They'll never make you feel replaceable. I didn't lose a wife. I lost a mask. And underneath it, there was nothing worth mourning. This was never about revenge. It was about remembering who the hell I am. And now, I'm finally home.